everyone. Thanks for tuning in. This is Chicks and Salsa tonight. And to my right, we have Miss Wonderful Kari Johnson, Miss Chiefs Chick 87. And in the middle, we've got Miss Candy Ebling, Miss Tribune South, who's also a host of Fire Up Wisconsin. How are you, ladies? How's it going this week?
Good. How are you, Miss Jen?
I am well. Thank you for asking. How about you, Kari? How's it going for you, madam?
Well, it is going well. I'm going to get to see my family this week, so I'm very excited about that. And it's just a fun week. It's family fun, all kinds of things going on. So,
yeah, lots of fun stuff. Well, I'm excited for you. Yeah, no, you were up late partying hardy with the fam last night. So we're going to try to end on time. Candy is going to be on her sojourn soon to be partying hardy with her family and celebrating her hubby's birthday next week. Woohoo!
Yes.
Tell Scott, should we sing happy birthday to Scott this week or next week?
I don't know.
We better wait for Megan because she's got to help us carry.
Let's do it. Yeah, we got to have somebody.
We need as many hands to carry a tune as possible.
And Candy, we don't know how you sing because you haven't had to sing on air yet.
That's true. The jury is still out. Stay tuned.
Hi, Jeremy. So we're gonna go ahead and start the show off. Sorry, apparently I'm learning how to talk tonight with some breaking news. So as we all know, the NBA pretty much told Sarver, the CEO, president, and owner of the Phoenix Mercury, as well as the Phoenix Suns, that he had to sell after his repeated unneeded comments to our African American
hostile working environment issues.
Thank you. And talking ish to NBA players that were not his. So, hey, not his, but not on his team. So, that's the one time I've agreed with Draymond Green, and it's probably the only time I will. But Matt Ishba, who was actually a star for the Michigan State, he played 3 seasons as a walk-on at Michigan State, coming off the bench for a single minute apiece in the 2000 NCAA championship victory against Florida, and also in the 2001 Final Four loss to Arizona. And he has become a billionaire because he started working for his dad's company, which is United Wholesale Mortgage. And he took over as president CEO in 2013. And now he's a billionaire. I wish I was born into that kind of family, but alas, I was not. So
you can't have good looks and money. I'm sorry. It's just you have to choose one or the other.
Thank you. Well, I've got floating head going on tonight. So we'll see how that works. I love your hair. And Candy has her jingle bells on and is always cute as a button.
Right?
Hey, 'tis the season.
So yay. A lot of people say that Silver doesn't do a lot of stuff for the NBA, but I think he actually does more behind the scenes than is ever going to be spoken out loud, because this isn't the first NBA owner he's kicked out. And dare I say it won't be the last. It's not the first time he's, helped come up with punishments for players. So, good for him, and good for honestly, the Mercury, the Phoenix Mercury and the Phoenix Suns, because I cannot talk today. I'm so tongue-tied. I'm sorry, ladies, because Brittany Griner needs to come back to a good environment to work in, and especially after everything she's been through. So, and as to the players, everybody needs to be respected. Men, women, black, white, Hispanic, Asian.
Purple, Asian. So I think I like this. Oh, go ahead, Kenny. I'm sorry.
No, I was going to say, let's be honest. Sarver's not making out on this deal. I mean, he bought them back in 2004 for $401 million, and he's selling them for $4 billion.
Yeah, I don't feel bad for him.
I don't feel bad for him either.
Don't cry for me, Argentina.
No, not at all.
No, I like the fact that the the
Hurts.
league stepped up and said, we don't want this junk in our league. I think that it's one of those things that that is a good thing that we're seeing happen, and maybe that's something that can start happening across across sports, that it means something when the league does not, when teams and leagues do not approve what is being said.
Right. And I mean, here's the thing, like if it's just like one instance, I mean, it's not good. Punishments need to occur. However, this was a repeated offense.
Right. And I think that the NFL has taken notice, as we see what's happening with the WTF. No, it's Commanders. Sorry, I had to go through it, make sure I got the right team name. But I think that we're seeing this, that what happened with the NBA is now giving the NFL a little bit of courage that they can clean house too. And I think that it's needed. It's needed. We're not living in the 1950s anymore. We're not living in that time frame, and we need to bring our leagues current as well. And I think NBA does a very great job of doing that.
Right. And you know what? I've been seeing, and that was actually a great segue, because I've been getting like news bulletins, news updates that like Snyder is closer and closer to selling. So what I want to know is, what other secret did Snyder find out about Ursi? Because 6 weeks ago he was all about like making Snyder sell, and now he's like, well, we're still talking about it. Hey, cool.
Not, yeah, that's a great question. That is a really great question.
It's just.
But the Colts right now are a flaming pile at the moment, or a very grotesque sideshow.
Well, I will say this in Saturday's defense: at least Jeff has them playing as a team again.
Oh no, I think that they are, but I mean, at the same time, he's using the talent that he has, but that can only spread so far, and he's going up against some powerhouses. So I don't think it's reflecting on Saturday as more of what is there and how it's imploding.
Oh yeah, I don't think it's Saturday's fault at all. I agree with you on that.
I think it's always hard for an interim coach to come in and step in, and they're not his players, they're not his coaches, and to have a lot of success. I think that's really difficult.
I know.
Well, it's kind of a stepfather situation, trying to, step in after boundaries have already been set, expectations have been made clear, and so all of a sudden you've got somebody else coming in and saying, well, okay, yeah, you had those boundaries no longer exist, but these are my boundaries.
Right.
So I mean, and that's kind of harsh, but it's also, it kind of parallels, because there's always going to be somebody that's bucking the system. There's always going to be some pushback. I don't think that we are seeing them implode as a team. I just don't think that the talent, they have one or two key players, and then everything else is just plug and play type situation, and they need more than what they have.
Exactly. I agree with you on that.
Well, and JT going down injury and them sitting him now, they IR'd him today, so
and
be there.
Matty Ice is Matty Slushy now at this point at best. So
I'm telling y'all, he wasted his career with the Falcons.
He did, and that's sad. I was hoping I really was hoping that this was going to show everybody that he was it wasn't him, but he waited too long.
He waited way too long.
Maybe it was failed promises. I don't know. I don't know, but I kind of feel like he either said no to a possible better career, or someone sat on him.
Well, and you guys know how I feel about the Falcons, so I'm going to keep my mouth shut.
Well, yeah. Speaking of teams that have interesting things going on.
Go for it. Sorry.
Raiders, hold my beer, and I'm going to find a way to circumvent the rule, because there's no one saying no.
Exactly.
Come on.
We needed Phil on here.
Bill Belichick move. I don't know what is. Jeez.
I mean,
So
on the
you have
flip side,
to-
it was only 2 weeks.
right. Well, okay, for that, but I digress. So what we're talking about is the Raiders found a loophole to make sure that they could get a higher lift on their kicks by putting, instead of having a holder hold the ball on the stand and not in the cradle, but on top of the cradle. So it gave them another, was it half inch that they could get the kick under, or the kicker to get his foot under and loft it farther in the air, which would give it more velocity and all that, the mass stuff that we get going around here, and at an advantage for the Raiders, pinning their opponents further back.
Yeah. And
how much did it help them? Well, I mean, it's the Raiders. It's the Raiders. They have their broke down car and it's out of warranty. And I'm sorry. Anyway, I'm
Bo
not.
Jones, where you at, Bo?
Bill, you better be on to protect your men.
But what about that crazy play at the end of that game? Like, really? What were they thinking? I mean, I don't get it. A Bill Belichick team, and they don't know what they're supposed to do on that last play? Like,
hey, Jeremy, I'll let you answer that one. They said
that he's already said that he's ready to play Saturday. Today. I mean, I don't know.
I don't know.
Jalen Hurts with his sprained shoulder, but I had a source say that he was ready to, or heard that he was ready to play. So,
I mean, I get the desire for the Super Bowl. My concern for the Eagles, no offense, Rob, is you will make it to the Super Bowl, and you'll do what the Panthers did in 2015. So that's my concern.
But
and I don't want Jalen. Jalen has such a.
Yeah, well, we watched two very what the heck moments with the Rams. Chris, he looks like his injury update from the Eagles is that he is going to be playing Christmas Eve. So cool saying won't miss more than 2 weeks. So we got our Eagles late. Eagles weighing in on us. We watched a Bill Belichick coach team do the most god-awful play that I think we've ever witnessed in the NFL. Like, I've never seen something fall apart so badly.
They made the Panthers play on Sunday look good. Thank you, Matt Patricia.
Right. And then you watched the Colts give away 31 points win in the first half to let the Vikings hold the biggest comeback ever in NFL history. So you're like, what in the ever-loving life is going on?
Right.
What?
Well, yeah. I mean, I think at the end of the day, the Colts showed us what we all know. Prevent defense only prevents you from winning. Like, that's all it does.
Mm-hmm.
And don't ever let it go on Kirk Cousins and crew. I mean, that was an epic comeback for them. I felt really bad. My father-in-law grew up in Baltimore, and he was Baltimore. We agree with you, Jeremy. Like, honestly, I'd hate for him to screw up his shoulder, a la my man Cam. Sorry, I thought my phone was ringing. I was like, wait, I had it in silent. But but you cannot do that. My father-in-law grew up in Baltimore. He's a huge Baltimore Colts fan. And so therefore he's an Indianapolis Colts fan. So we had actually gone Christmas shopping on Saturday, and my husband called. He was like, you need to get in the car and I have Sirius Radio, and put it on the game. He was like, this Colts are up. I think at that point, 21's up. And I was like, okay. And my father-in-law was so excited. I was joking around with my father-in-law. I was like, Bill, you really shouldn't watch the Colts game when they're up that high. Like, record it and watch it later. Candy, what are your thoughts on that?
It was just crazy. And And I go back to actually Scott and I we were on our way up to Jacksonville because we were at the Jags Cowboys game on Sunday.
That was a fun game for you, by the way.
That was. So we're sitting in Daytona across from the Motor Speedway, and we were at a Hooters and we were watching the game. And we're like, and I say this all the time. The NFL has to come up with a better way to do overtime, because I honestly think it's an unfair advantage if you win a coin toss. And how should an outcome of a game come down to a coin toss?
Right.
Well, I mean, yeah, they've changed it for the playoffs, but then you also flip it out there and look if you watched the ending of the Washington Commanders and Giants game, and we let an entire game be decided by two very bad calls by officials.
Mm-hmm.
They've got some cleaning up they need to do, in my opinion.
Yeah.
And I'm not, honestly, at this point, I think you got to start holding the referees accountable. And how are you going to hold them accountable? You're going to hit them in their pocketbook. I get it. They don't make the same kind of contracts.
Sorry, Cole, that made me chuckle. Sorry, Kari.
You don't. You make the fines or the accountability according to the what you pay them. So they can't handle $14,000 fines. But you hit someone's your pocketbook for $150, $200. I'm not willing to do that. I don't want to give up $250.
No.
I mean,
but they do need to be held accountable. Like, how many teams have they changed the trajectory of a game for? And like, honestly, Sunday, I can't complain about the officiating because with the Panthers loss, because honestly, we were given so many calls that were never given, even though they happen. And they were legit calls, in my opinion. Somebody can disagree with me, but they're not going to because the Steelers still won. But I mean, that was probably one of the better officiated games I've seen in a long time, just unbiasedly saying. No, if my team had not been lethargic, then that would have been really good. But they
right.
were.
I think in today's day and age, when there's so many different camera angles, that there's got to be league officials or officials watching each game, and they should be able to, if there is an erroneous call that is so obviously wrong, that they overturn it.
Right. You should be able to.
That's where, and I don't want the game delayed anymore because my God, the game goes on forever sometimes. Oh, and it's not going to really change the outcome, but we slow it down to where it crawls. And I mean, that's just part of the game. But so we don't want everything to be, I don't want everything reviewable.
Right.
But we also have watched players and teams get assessed fines the following week for something that happened on Sunday.
Mm-hmm. And here's the thing. Most refs are actually very well high paid professionals in their real life. And so, I mean, I'm fine with giving them a couple of big fines because I'm sick of them screwing up the trajectory of games. And I know they're human. I get it. But if it's a really close call, send it to New York.
Get some extra.
I'm sorry. Send it to Secaucus.
Well, and put a time limit on how long they can review it.
Yeah.
Like there should only be, because I'll be honest, when you are at a game, it's a little different when you're at home and you're watching, but if you're at a game and all of a sudden they're reviewing the play, that can take a long time. Like I can't imagine if you watched last night's game in Green Bay, how cold it was for people to stand in the stands in an outdoor stadium in December when it's freezing out and there's nothing being played on the field because they're reviewing and it's taking forever and ever. It shouldn't take that long. You have enough cameras. You have enough camera angles. It should not be that long.
Exactly. Agreed. 100%.
Either it's indisputable and you know it, or if you're have to look at it that closely, you don't have enough to overturn it and move on.
Exactly. Well, I'm going to go ahead and segue to this next one because this one I was literally trying to buy Christmas lights or holiday lights, and NHL great Ron Francis um, is currently the GM of the Seattle Kraken, and he's also on the Athletics list of the greatest players of the NHL's post-expansion era. I can't read again. Or right, he's the fifth all-time with 1,798 points scored and 1,731 NHL games, and second overall in career assists. Gretzky is the only one who has more than he does. And I'm not a big hockey fan, but I've heard of Gretzky. I hadn't really heard of Ron Francis, so I feel bad about that. But when he was growing up in a northern Ontario community in Canada, he has a younger brother named Ricky Francis, and they would have to he went into this. He did a lot of hockey with the Special Olympics, and this story I'll put this story in our Facebook page. If you get a chance, then please do read it. It literally brought me to tears. But they finally figured out a way when Ricky was a kid to help avoid, minimize the seizures. And that was honestly, according to Ron, by changing his diet. And that really helped a lot. I'm not going to sit there and say holistic medicine is for everyone. For some people, it is sometimes as simple as changing your diet.
I read that and I really thought that was interesting. There's a lot that just without going deep into it, because I've looked into things.
Yeah.
With a processed food that we live on, mm-hmm. instead of it coming farm fresh to our table, we're missing out on a lot of nutrients. And I see that's something that can very much change. And so it was really neat to kind of read that and see that was just a high dosage of vitamins to help him.
Yeah. And no dairy, no chocolate. And then when he didn't have a seizure, he was having 25 to 30 a day, right, Kari? Right, Candy?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. And from 8 until he was 27, he didn't have one just by changing his diet. And this is what kind of made me tear up because I thought it was sweet. Whenever Rod goes home, people will go up to him and be like, "Hey, I know you." And you want to finish it?
Ricky's brother.
Yeah. They will be like, "Hey, you're that great NHL player. You're Ricky's brother. How's Ricky doing?" They don't care about, they care about him, but they don't, they care about Ricky.
This community loves Ricky, and that's pretty awesome.
Yeah, I love that. And I read that and I was like, okay, y'all, we're going to share this one. So I'll put this link in our chat or on our Facebook page. If you guys can read it, please feel free to. It's a great story. And now we're going to have a little fun because Santa Claus is coming to town on Saturday night. So we asked Megan, because we gave Megan the night off. She needed to go shopping or something. I don't know. I'm jealous. But no, I'm just kidding. Megan couldn't be here tonight. But we asked Megan what she wanted from Santa Sports Edition. And that is she wants Victor Wembanyama. I'm sorry, I have to look at Wembanyama. Wembanyama. Can one of y'all pronounce that name for me?
That guy. The 7-foot phenom.
Yes. I'm going to put it in the chat so y'all know who I'm talking about. And I apologize, Victor. I cannot talk today, so I am sorry. I'm putting this in our chat right now. But that is what Megan wants for Christmas, for Victor to go to the San Antonio Spurs. However, that was one of my 2 wishes also, for him to come to the Charlotte Hornets. But
so who's been naughtier and who's been nicer?
I mean, we got rid of Miles Bridges.
Santa's going to have to make a choice.
Okay, so Candy, you go with your first wish, and then we'll go with Kari, and Kari will do both of her wishes, and we'll go back to you, Candy, and I'll finish it up.
Well, as I head back to my home state of Wisconsin and the snowstorm, it's going to be a white Christmas for me. On the flip side, my team is coming down here. The Packers play the Dolphins on Christmas Day. So I am hoping for a Packer victory.
I will ask for that too. Oh, wait.
That was Mrs. Claus saying that, right?
Right.
Okay.
So I think that I would like to have, if I'm going to do just sports, because I'm the cheesy one that always wants just love and compassion is my gift. That my son won't even ask me anymore. He's like, you just tell me that you just want me. Well, that's what I do want. I want to spend time with you. So I'm the cheesy one that always has those type of answers. But for my Chiefs, I would like Santa to give my secondary on defense confidence in their abilities. They're all rookies, and I would like for them to be more confident and play with that. So that would be my biggest wish. And then I wouldn't be sad, Santa, if the Bills and the Dolphins lose again.
Okay. And Miss Candy, what's your second wish?
My second wish is just for everybody to enjoy family time. Because that's what it's all.
Sweet.
That's what it's all about.
It is. Carrie's already got a leg up on you on that one.
I know. Well,
She was
came
partying
before
until
me, but
she was partying until 3 a.m.
Oh, not quite. But we did find some inflatables that needed some help.
I don't know if y'all caught that. I almost fell out of my chair just then.
Then what do you want?
My last wish, I really want that for sports edition wise, I really truly want Steve Wilkes to get the head coach position. I really do. I think he deserves it. The entire city of Charlotte wants him. Most Carolina Panthers fans want him, except for the few ridiculous ones who think we're going to actually trade picks for Mike Tomlin. Yeah, you heard that.
Well, okay, can I have another wish that they share whatever they're celebrating with all of us? Because that's a little out there. But go ahead.
Yeah, I know. Like literally, I'll screenshot some stuff to y'all that I've seen on Facebook. I'm like, David Tepper was part of the minority group that wanted to fire Mike Tomlin when he was with Pittsburgh. Shh. There have only been like countless articles written about it. But yeah. So Megan, we hope you have a great night. And we think that, and by the way, y'all, if y'all are in the Texas area, check out Megan on it's the weekdays on 806 Sports Talk, because Megan is doing the women's sports talks now. We're proud of our girl. And
Absolutely.
check out Miss Candy's other projects like Fire Up Wisconsin, the Sports Exchange, with that crazy man she calls her husband. And what other shows do you have, Candy?
Inside the Pigskin, Fire Up Michigan, 108 Stitches Baseball Talk. I think that wraps. Yeah, those are pretty much No Limits. There's a couple others, but the big ones right now are Inside the Pigskin and Sports Exchange. So
yeah.
Well, hey, Candy, share with our viewers what you got to do this last Sunday.
Yes.
So on Sunday, me and my husband were both credentialed. So we were sitting in the press box watching the Jags beat those Cowboys. Yay. And like see the whole, it was, I have to admit, there were a lot, and I mean a lot of Cowboys fans there. And in the beginning, they were like, you could hear them erupt and cheer because obviously they were doing well. And then all of a sudden, you could hear the tides changing, and the Jags came back, and then they won, and it was like crazy. And it was really cool because then after the game, we got to go to the press conference with
Doug Peterson,
and of course Trevor Lawrence.
Who was that who showed the other day? Who was that who showed the other day something from one of the like ESPN analysts? Was it you, Carrie, that said something about, it may have been you, Candy, I don't remember, but that Urban Meyer was going to give Trevor Lawrence that drive like Tom Brady has. And I was like, oh, that aged so well.
I'm so thankful that Urban is out of there. Like he just
Oh, yeah.
ruined everything that he touched. And I'm thankful that Doug is there to really help mentor Trevor and get him where he
So
needs to go, because I think he's going to be really good.
I
Yes.
like Doug. He's part of Andy Reid's coaching tree. So I like um I like I like Doug. I was glad he was there. I'm glad he's there for Trevor. And I like Sunshine only because Alex was so big on Sunshine and being that QB. And I celebrate because I love the fact that Trevor has had such an exciting year for him and he was not ruined by last year's debacle.
Right.
Exactly.
Exactly.
So,
All right, Kari, tell everybody where they can find you at.
well, everywhere. I mean, you can
Rob, are you hearing this?
He's going to be around the Christmas. She's going to be around the Christmas tree every place. She's going to be the next Miss
I
Claus.
am trying to get this wish from Santa. I'm telling you. But you can find me on Twitter. You can find me on Facebook. You'll find me with the NFL Carousel. And who knows what else you'll find me in the near future. So find me, hit me up, share any ideas with me, and looking forward to upward and onwards.
Yes, ma'am. And y'all can find me on most sideline sports podcasts, or a lot of them. I did the math the other day. I'm on like 7 a week. And when January starts, I will be intruding upon your podcast again, Candy, with Inside the Pigskin. Just a little crazy here. So, but yeah, check us out. If you guys have any ideas, topics you want us to cover, feel free to put DM any one of us. You can also put it in our Twitter. You can put it on our Facebook page. However you want to get in touch with us, you definitely can. We just don't check YouTube that often, if ever. But thanks, guys. And we wish you all a happy Hanukkah, as today is the 3rd day of Hanukkah. And Merry Christmas, Happy Kwanzaa, and
happy holidays. So
yeah.
I really want you to have the happiest season celebrating your family and your love.
Exactly.
And it doesn't matter what you celebrate, just I want it to be happy.
And Candy, we wish you luck on your next podcast, and drive safe. Don't let Scott drive 100 miles an hour this time, okay?
I'll try not to.
All right, thank you.
You're welcome.
Have a great week.
Thanks,
Have a great
everybody.
week, y'all.
Happy
Bye.
holidays.